Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Leaders in Value Chain podcast. I'm your host, Stéphanie Moles-Rota, Managing Director at Alcott Global. I have the great honor today to have Maria Pia De Caro, who's on the board EVP Integrated Operation and SNR at Pernod Ricard. She's got more than 25 years of international career in supply chain and operation. She has led engineering, manufacturing, M&A, supply chain transformation team for a number of fast-moving consumer goods company. And prior to joining Pernod Ricard in 2023, she held several operations leadership roles at Procter & Gamble, Mondelez, Unilever, and Nomad Foods in many countries from Italy all the way to China and UK. So Maria, welcome to our podcast.
Ciao, Stephanie. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited. So you are a true inspiration to many, on the board of one of Fortune's 500 world's most admired company, and also one of France's best employer. So looking at your career, what are some of the lessons learned in your career that have been a true game changers?
Thank you for asking this question, and thank you again for having me today. I feel very fortunate of having the role I'm having today, because when you talk of Pernod Ricard as one of the most admired companies, I truly believe that Pernod Ricard is a company with a soul. And it's a company that has a strong tradition of innovation and a culture of conviviality that makes it a very good place for leaders to learn and thrive. Now, how did I end up in this fortunate position? It's a long story. As you said, I've been 25 years in the business. And if I need to think about the learnings I've got in those 25 years, is that initially, I would say for a good 20 years in my career, I've always tried to be the best, not necessarily in competition with others, but I had a genuine obsession for trying to be the best I could be, maybe driven by some insecurities. So I did engineering, and then in engineering, I had to do mechanical engineering because there were no women in engineering. And then I had to be a process engineer because no women were going into process engineering. And then I wanted to demonstrate that women could do a good job. So it has been almost a history of exaggeration to demonstrate that I was good enough, and I was good at representing, let's say, women and women in engineering in the business. So that has been pretty much half of my career, until one day I have realized that I had to make choices for myself. It was more or less at the same time as when I decided to leave P&G, and I also decided to divorce. And I realized that I was important, that all I had learned was good enough and sufficient. And then from that moment on, I haven't really tried to demonstrate I was good enough or at my best. I was just being myself. And what I've learned in the last 10, 12 years is that by being myself, I've actually accelerated my career progression and my learning in the job. I'm actually a more fulfilled individual, and I think I'm a better coach and a better role model for other people. So if I think about the learnings, it is very much in the technical domain. I'm very proud of what I've learned throughout the years, because I believe a leader is first and foremost what we know and what we know how to measure. But there is an element of leadership that is about being authentic and about being our true selves. If we are our true selves, we represent our diversity, but we also represent the potential of including other people's diversity in our enterprises. So I would say those are the two key learnings. Learn as much as you can and be your true self.
I love that. I've recognized so much the wanting to be the best, as you mentioned, maybe due to some insecurity, but that's an amazing drive. And actually, funny enough, probably in your career, the early days being your best, you have to learn is probably a good journey. And then as you become a leader, learning about who you are, being authentic and inspirational is definitely one of the learning. Otherwise, people will will not follow you.
If I can add one thing, Stephanie, before we move to the next question. I have had an amazing mentor throughout my career for about 20 years. And sadly, she passed away in 2019. But one of the things that she taught me, her name was Maria Gale. She taught me that everyone has a unique gift. Everyone is extraordinary in some way or form. And I feel that as a leader, my job is to find what it is extraordinary about the people I lead and to nurture that gift. And then everything is possible. Everything is truly possible. So Pernod Ricard is about unlocking the magic of human conviviality. But my job is to unlock the potential of every single individual in the company or any partner that works with the company. And then we are unstoppable.
Wow, very inspirational. I love it. I love it. I wish I could have met your mentor. So diving into the world of Pernod Ricard, you've been there for over a year now. We're moving to 1.5 years. Time flies when you're having fun. Can you share some of your transformation agenda for the coming years and maybe some of, what you want to achieve, but also the market dynamics that you see influencing supply chain, value chain in the world of tomorrow?
Yeah, thank you for this question again. Pernod Ricard is a company that has demonstrated a huge potential for growth. I'd like to say that it's a company with a soul. We are about to celebrate our 50th anniversary when 50 years ago, Paul Ricard decided to buy Pernod from the Amara family and merge the two companies. And then since then, it has been a journey of organic growth and integration of sometimes larger companies than the company was itself. And we are now at the point where we are a huge multinational, number 2 in the world, 12 billion euro turnover, with a very strong trajectory of growth. This is just to introduce the overall frame of the company. This is a company that has a very broad portfolio of brands, which we are very proud, because we believe that Pernod Ricard is about occasions, is about moments of conviviality. So the broader the portfolio, the more conviviality you can offer, and a very broad presence in many markets. So with a very differentiated route to market. I think just by describing who we are, I'm probably already giving away some of the inherent challenges and opportunities for supply chain. This is also a company that, as I said, has grown through organic growth and acquisitions, and therefore we have a supply chain that in many cases has not been fully harmonized with each other by the nature of the expansion. So my agenda is very ambitious and incredibly exciting. I'm really, I love designing and I love creating. So this is for me, it's like being in a playroom, if you like. And this is about taking what we call integrated operations to the next stage of maturity. So my scope is very broad. When I call it integrated operations, I mean the create part of integrated operations, so R&D, quality, design to sustainable value, anything related to customer innovation. We talk about make, so the entire value chain from materials, manufacturing facilities, and the physical distribution, and serve everything that is related to planning, logistics, and customer service, supported by 3 strong enablers. The first one is unlocking the potential of every individual by upskilling in leadership and competence, by driving a strong agenda of safety, and by driving a strong digital transformation program. Now, this is the frame, so create, make, and serve with the 3 enablers. The company has a very strong trajectory of growth. What is the best way for operations to support this growth? Is to accelerate the digital transformation. So as a company, we have made huge investments on the sales and marketing side with some of our digital tools, we call them KDPs, looking at how can we best allocate resources to optimize spend in different markets. We are now doing the same on the supply chain side, making sure that we have a very powerful ERP very powerful and integrated planning systems, end-to-end visibility, and driving the value throughout the entire supply chain. This also comes with looking at how do we support our business partners in the portfolio optimization. So having a huge portfolio comes with the responsibility, because it is about maximizing the value of the newcomers, but also assessing what is maybe less performing or less optimized from the point of view of how we are connected in how we are producing our SKUs, or how we are transporting or distributing our SKUs, how we are going to market with our SKUs. And then lastly is reinforcing the role of supply chain when it comes to customer facing. So we see big dynamic and big shifts in the markets. We see a normalization pace in spirits in 24 and 25. So how do we make sure that we use this phase of normalization to reinforce our relationship with our customers, so reinforce our road to market approaches, and making sure that we are ready for when the growth trajectory will reaccelerate. So this connects to the create part. So do we connect to the customers, but also do we connect to the new and emerging consumer trends? Do we understand what these consumers really want? And how do we adapt our go-to-market to meet the needs of these new consumers, or these consumers that are maybe having different needs as we go on? I mean, I'm just making some examples. We see an emergence of no alcohol products or ready-to-drink products. There is still a very strong desire to premiumize our products, to have occasions and experiences. So are we ready for all of this? And how do we set our systems, our processes, and our people for these new experiences and new occasions?
Super exciting. And I guess you're very close to the marketing team in that last role, and the commercial, right, to make one.
I believe in the role of integrated operations as a business partner. So we sometimes say diversity is being invited to the party and inclusion is being invited to dance. I believe that integrated operations is a business partner that is sitting at the table and is participating at the table. So it is really developing a strong integration with marketing, with sales, with finance, and working end-to-end. And this is why it's all more exciting for me, having the full visibility from create, from R&D.
For sure. Yeah, sounds
connect with everyone.
Sounds so, I mean, the marketeer in me is coming up, and I could spend hours thinking about new needs, but it's all about you today on that podcast. Thanks for taking us on that journey. Moving a little bit onto your ESG portfolio, because you also have ESG with you. How big is the challenge at hand? And can you tell us a little bit more about, what you are doing and the company is doing to move the needle a little bit further?
And I like to start saying that Pernod Ricard is a business with a soul. And if you think about Paul Ricard, he was a pioneer of sustainability before sustainability was even a name, because of his presence in the agricultural world, in the terroir, because of his passion for the ocean. And this passion has actually lived in the heritage of Pernod Ricard up to the current times. So sustainability has always been very strong for us, and it goes beyond the realm pure sustainability into the responsibility world. So for us, sustainability and responsibility is one and the same. Just recently, we have decided that sustainability and responsibility was best led by operations, because much of the program touches operation, or operation is a very important enabler, and to give it an even stronger integration, because I'm effectively transversal across all functions. So by having the responsibility for sustainability allows me to be transversal with sustainability. So the challenge is clearly very big. And besides the obvious, we all want to be net zero. We all want to meet our SBTi targets. I think it's very important for us at Pernod Ricard to make sure that sustainability is deeply connected and integrated with the business. One of our recent undertakings is leveraging the current corporate directive for sustainable reporting, the CSRD EU directive, to actually reinforce and accelerate our journey, because we see it as an opportunity to deep dive in every topic, from social responsibility, agriculture, packaging, circular economy, own workforce, human rights, external workforce, and all the other directives more completely in an auditable world, and making sure that that analysis allows us to extract even more value from the supply chain. So we are deeply tying in the sustainability program and the ESG commitment with the sustainable reporting, because we see the value of reporting to generate insights. Something that we like to say with Alexandra is that we are what we measure. And if we measure, we can improve it.
100%. Otherwise, it's words, right? Like we did better.
It's just word.
Today I did better.
Correct. Now, if I think about sustainability for Pernod Ricard, just to give you maybe a few examples of areas where we are very active. We are very active on circularity. We have started some exciting projects. One for all is Eco Spirits, where we look at delivering containers to bars and pubs or hotels. They can be refilled closely to the source of use and recycled. So we actually eliminate the need of packaging. We are very active in the area of regenerative agriculture. We have some very exciting pilots in Cognac and in Champagne, looking at leveraging artificial intelligence to identify what are the key parameters that influence the use of natural resources, from fertilizers to waters, to make sure that we create a positive environment and a pool from our partners, from local agricultures, local farmers, local cooperatives to work with us on this journey. We are very active on the use of energy. One for all is the mechanical vapor recompression techniques to use residual heat in distilleries to reduce energy consumption and not waste energy. On the packaging scope 3 journey, we use glass. Glass is a wonderful material. It's inert, but it requires a lot of energy to be produced, because we need very high temperatures for the production of glass. So we are working very closely with our suppliers, with the industry at large, to reduce this footprint, to make it sustainable, looking at where is best to source, what is the best way to design those bottles, what is the best way to commercialize those bottles, with or without gift boxes or other additions that will still keep it attractive and prestigious for consumers, but best for the environment at the same time. So those examples, just to tell you that we try to work at 360 degrees. And if you haven't seen it, one last one, it's our last campaign on Drink More Water. It's a very funny campaign designed for millennials. I actually loved it. I have a 21 years old. They couldn't believe that we have actually made such funny video in such a serious company. So if you haven't watched the videos, I recommend you do. Because all we want is that people enjoy our products responsibly.
For sure. And I think with the 50 years anniversary, hopefully, from what you mentioned in the beginning as well, and being so close to the terroir, to the field, and that you can use some of what you're doing today in sustainability with, the roots of the company. So again, very inspirational, lots of collaboration words, because sustainability cannot be done just by ourselves.
Sustainability, as you say, indeed, it's about communities. And this is something I've also learned from my previous experience working when I was at Unilever, we were talking very much about communities, about impacting beyond our ecosystem. And joining Pernod Ricard, I've actually seen that this is part of our DNA. It's about the company, but it's about industry association. It's about our suppliers. It's about the communities in which we live and operate. It's about having a positive impact on the world. It's about doing good for the world. It's about being a business with a soul.
So continuing to be true to yourself, which brings us to the last but not the least question. Obviously, also you're one of the few women in your position. I mentioned in the beginning, you're an inspiration to many, but also to women, of course. Any insights for the listeners when it comes to diversity, and any advice you would give to your younger self?
Wow, beautiful question. To my listeners, I like to say that I really loved the theme of International Women's Day from the United Nations, #Inspire Inclusion. And the reason why I really loved it, and I want to repeat it today, is that diversity is about being invited to the party. Inclusion is about being invited to dance. Because more and more in companies, we start to have good representation of diversity of gender, diversity of backgrounds, cultural diversity, neurodiversity, etc. But if we don't invite our diverse workforce to dance, it will just be sitting there. And if we believe that everyone is a gift, if everyone is something extraordinary, we want to use the magic in our organization. So the message to everyone is, you have a lot of magic in the organization, use that magic. And it's also the magic that lies within. It's also our magic. So one of my magic that I've learned over time, and I wish, so the advice I wanted to give my younger self, I can see the magic in people. And if I knew back then, how much more I could have done instead of ruminating on my limits, because now I don't see myself through my limits anymore. I don't care about my limits. I am who I am. The only thing I can do is give all I have, but then the rest will come from the beautiful people that surround me. That's my wish for all of you. Find the magic.
Find the magic, get invited to dance, and that's your superpower. You can see the magic in people. I love it. Maria Pia, thank you so much for taking the time today. I know you're we heard you're super busy, not only with the end-to-end, but, ESG and the rest. A true pleasure, and very much looking forward to seeing what the world brings next to Pernod Ricard and to yourself.
Thank you very much. Lovely speaking to you. Lovely speaking to you all listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to go to www.alcottglobal.com and click the podcast button for all the show notes of the interview. Also, subscribe to our mailing list to get our latest update first. If you're listening to a streaming platform like iTunes or Spotify, we would appreciate the kind review. 5-star works best to keep us going and our production team happy, and of course share it with your friends. I'm most active on LinkedIn, so do feel free to follow me, and if you have any suggestions on what to do or who to invite next, don't hesitate to drop me a note. And if you're looking to hire top executives or transform your business, of course contact us as well to find out how we can help.